To
Yeah.
hog the mic. I've been in talks with this guy on Fiverr. He's just typed in multifamily underwriting, and I was just gonna hire a VA to start helping me like run numbers on some of them. Do you guys have any recommendations on that, or do you do it all in house?
Well, what I heard first is that you were on Grindr looking for a guy. So I'm like, okay,
Fiverr.
so that
On Fiverr, is that
anybody got any feedback for Roderick's question?
I would say running the numbers is something that you want to do. I don't know. That's just me. Like, no matter, even if they can start it, I guess, the underwriting and running the numbers, but at some point, I think you have to have eyes on it and look at the columns and verify everything, right? As long as you're doing that, I think that's okay. Having a VA, as long as they're trained right and you trust them.
Yeah, just looking to him to help me set up the system. That was the main reason I was trying to get help. He said he's worked for a bunch of other people doing underwriting, so I'm curious, like, how do they organize everything?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good idea then.
Couple hours, why
You're talking
not,
about
right?
the process, yeah, Roger?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah, let us know how that goes too if you figure it out.
Yeah.
Did you
Happy to share tips.
did you find a guy already, Roderick?
I'm interviewing him tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Okay. Sounds good. Hold on a second. We have an Uber order coming, so I'm trying to monitor that too. So a couple others, if that one doesn't work out, Upwork is excellent. And then
Yep.
onlinejobs.ph. So they're Filipinos. Onlinejobs.ph. I personally use onlinejobs.ph because it gives you kind of their education, their background. It also has their DISC score. I think it's their DISC score, Strength Finder score. So kind of cool. You can pick out some of that stuff. But just like Corey said, I would suggest that you do everything you can to have a template that the VA runs, but then you kind of double check everything. So that way you're ensuring that the data that you're getting is going to be accurate for your purposes. If you just rely on to give you a thumbs up, thumbs down, they might miss something.
Oh,
but yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to create a new email and share access to the email with him, and all property stuff will just go to that one. He can organize it, and then I'll look at it and understand it. It was my goal.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let me introduce you to Tyler on our team. Tyler's amazing, and he does all of our underwriting. So
Yes,
when you get a chance, we'll hook you guys together. So when we work with people who are looking for multifamilies, Tyler runs all of the numbers and sets up all the Google Drives, creates all the information, and then that
That's
way
what I need.
yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's great to have someone like that. Or we'll partner together, bro. Just let us know. Corey and I are definitely trying to get some multifamilies too. So if there's something that's interesting, let us know.
Let's take down a big one. It'd be so fun.
I've been looking at 300 units or bigger. I don't know if that's big enough for you, but
why not? Go straight to the big one, right? It's probably easier to manage. Yeah, in-house staff now.
100%. It's kind of funny, but once you get up to 100 to 200, it's easier than actually a fourplex. And then when you get to 200 plus, it's just more toilets, and your property manager handles it all, but you got the systems in place already. So 100% agree.
Okay, I'm switching. I want to go 300 and up.
You're all over the board. I love it. I love that.
No, it's great. I was trying to stay small because I thought it would be easier, but you're right. I'll have more help if it's a big deal, you know?
The hard part about 50 units is, so we have a 50 unit in Houston that we are part of, and that one is so much work because we can't afford to hire a full-time PM and on-site staff. Where the 160 unit that we own in Vegas, full-time leasing agent, full-time resident manager, two full-time, I call them toilet cleaners, but they're called maintenance. And so, I mean, it's just great because they're on site all day long, and it really does help you scale.
So I've finished this.
That's great. And if one of them doesn't work out, you get somebody new, and the money's there for that position built into the model. I just love that. It's way better.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, let's go 300, 400.
Okay, I'm going to start getting help hunting down brokers in the few cities that I have a property in already. 300 and up. Any other requirements for this magic property that we're gonna buy?
So a couple of things, I don't know if, I mean, hopefully this is beneficial to everybody else listening in too. So when you're looking in those markets, bro, definitely check out population growth. Definitely look at income growth, crime rate dropping. Crime rate score of 400 and less is really good. And so you want to, you won't see no crime, but you want to get some crime, you know, some drop in crime rates. And
I
then of
wrote
course,
400 or less.
yeah, 400 less is a good number. So those are really important. There's a kind of a whole checklist that we use, but those are pretty key.
Okay.
That'll definitely help you out.
Internet in Spanish.
Anybody
Any
else?
other
would have
requirements?
else?
Wait, how about year built?
So that's a great question. So the thing with the year built is that if you get into the up to the 1980s, if you can get 80s or newer, then typically you're going to have less rehab because you will
Yep.
typically have better plumbing, electrical panels will be the newer ones as opposed to the Federal Pacifics that are always a difficult deal.
Yep, I looked at one yesterday. They keep popping up. They got to switch them out.
Yeah, exactly. The challenge that you're going to run into though is that those typically are a little bit pricier. So it's actually cheaper to go with something built in the 60s, 70s. So the one that we have in Vegas is 1968. So we can
Okay.
get a better value on it.
Cool. What about square footage? Do you like having 1-bedroom units or 2-bedroom units, or like what's your preference?
So when you're taking a look at the larger demographic, if you're gonna try to buy a 300 unit, you want a mix of 1, 2s, and 3s. And
Okay.
typically the sweet spot is a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom.
Preferably. Yeah, very cool.
I think
I'll be hunting.
Yeah. The other things real quick to put down on your thing is analyze the neighborhood. Look at schools around you, colleges around you, job opportunities, restaurants, shopping, entertainment, because tenants pay bigger rent to be closer to good schools and restaurants,
Yep.
shopping, walkability, that type of thing. Median income growth is super important. Make sure there's transportation near you because some of the residents will probably prefer to go with bus or walkability. And then I take a look for me a lot with the number of jobs that are nearby and other companies. Because if somebody
Right.
was a tenant who gets unemployed, I don't really want them to leave my property to go find a job somewhere else. I want
Right.
that they enough job options open nearby.
Okay. Gotcha. We used
Does that
to
help?
search all this stuff when I was looking for deals before, so I totally know where to look. Thank you for the reminder. And yeah, we sold the one house that was in a bad school district. It just had too many problems.
Tons, yeah. It's better just like you said, sell them and then get into a better neighborhood and use all the lessons
There
you
you
learned.
I want to sell all the single families. I'm over it, bro. Like
Yeah, no,
running
single
all
families,
these-
like ROI compared to multi, yeah, 100%. So much
Yep.
better. I love it. I love it.
I'm excited, Kiko. Thank you so much for all your help.
I like your energy, man. You get me excited. Let's go out shopping.
Yeah, everything's about to go on sale. You'll see.
Oh, dude, 100%. Market's going to be shifting. So that's where Corey and I've been talking a lot about just getting ready in the different markets we're in. We've been putting a lot of focus on Vegas because the Vegas market continues to be strong. New casinos are opening up. Job rates and job growth still is there. So yeah, so it's pretty exciting. We got a new Keiko office opening up down in Vegas right now.
Is that right? Congratulations.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That's awesome. What is the
Oh.
intent with brick and mortar?
Corey, you want to talk about that?
No, go ahead. It's loud where I'm at. I just need a minute after.
Oh, gotcha. So Roderick, what were we saying?
What was your reasoning behind setting up a brick and mortar location? Like, why not just do everything virtual?
Oh, that's a great question. Layla, do you want to take it? Or she might be doing something else. I'm trying to get other people involved in the
No,
conversation.
I can take that one if it's not too. Well, one is it's kind of time for our company to start locating a market that we can buy long term and start building a portfolio for the company. So Vegas is one of them. We see it as an emerging market, and
Mhm.
so we're setting up shop that way. And then there's also like the opportunity on the lending side because like where there's, I guess in Nevada, the state of Nevada, it's very hard to lend without a license. You need brick and mortar presence. You have to have a QE, so like a qualified employee who's had like 2 years or more originating to be in the office at all times. So there's a since it's such tight regulation that kind of prevents opportunity for those who are willing to jump through those hoops, right? And since we're going to be in Vegas anyways, that's an opportunity because we also, you know, I'm on the MPLA alongside Layla and Alex, and there's a lot of lenders across the nation that they want to close in Vegas, but they don't have a license there. They don't have a brick and mortar presence, so we can be that team, hopefully. So it could be a big opportunity on that side. That's a great question, though.
Yeah, good call on your pick. I don't blame you. That's gonna be rad.
Yeah, Roderick, it may be even a good opportunity to take a look at some bigger units in Vegas as well. There's some ones that come available from time to time. And the market is strong because obviously the whole casino industry keeps supporting the whole area. So
Can you give me
something
the
to-
town keywords that you want me to put hunt out? Like, what's your favorite area of Vegas?
Well, there's multis throughout Vegas. So there's some in Vegas itself. There's some in Summerlin, some in Henderson, some in North Vegas. There's quite a bit. Lots of housing because there's a big university in town too.
Gotcha.
Good stuff. I like it,
Yeah,
brother. Yeah, good stuff. Good relevant conversation for sure. Corey, you got something you want to share?
No, I was gonna ask you. I'm at the cookie corner. You never sent me your list. Text me. I was gonna show you, but it's okay. It's inappropriate.
Yeah, pick up the chocolate dipped ones, man. Corey's over at Honolulu Cookie Company picking up some stuff for his trip. Chocolate dipped,
Cool.
brah.
Christmas
This
is coming. Buy some extras, bro. You're gonna need them. Give them
I
away.
know, right? Those are the best
Yeah.
gifts.
Totally. That's awesome. Just get like 20 of those and hand them out.
Yeah, 100%. So anybody got any needs? Roderick's got a need. He wants 300 units or more. Karen's not on the call. She's looking at a multi-unit on Molokai, so we're evaluating that right now with her, so it's cool. Tay, what's happening she doesn't have a camera on, but if she's available, be curious to see what's going on Maui these days.
Yeah.
Hey, Tay.
Hi guys. Not much honestly. We are working on some leads, single family or like small, not multi-family, but you know, single family plus a dwelling. We're working on some leads there. There was actually like a couple of weeks ago, this wholesaler, kind of mass text or text blasted a bunch of us investors on I think it's a good lead. Just comes with a lot of it's a situation type of lead where this lady, anyway, it's the family house. Her siblings don't want to sell it, but she has the right to sell it, so she's trying to sell it without them knowing. And I just anyway,
Really?
I made a really low offer. I don't know if he's gonna get to sell it for what he wants, but it was a talk of the week when the lead went out. But so we actually have a interesting situation. So Upcountry Pukalani, it's a big house, 6 bedrooms and like 2.5 bath, I believe, plus the cottage on a half acre or quarter acre, half acre, I think. And the guy had agreed to sell it to us verbally for 780,000. Then he kind of went back on his word. He's like, I'll let it go for 800. So we signed at 800. And after he signed, he called again and he's like, we want 900,000. I think Corey, the girls talked to you about this one. So I'm getting my attorney involved now because this guy just keeps changing his mind. And we've been, you know, working on the lead, obviously doing due diligence, talking about raising capital. And I don't know, I just don't really like when sellers keep changing their mind like that. And He's talking to the tenants to not let us on the property anymore. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, dude, we're in escrow. Like, how do you do that? So anyway, getting my attorney involved to see what can be done. But yeah, other than that, that's that. We're closing on the Kansas City flip today with Aiden, with Shannon and Kevin.
Oh, nice.
Staying active, staying active.
How's Kansas City market looking these days with appreciation?
Looking good. They actually went through the county, Jackson County, went through a reassessment. So they hired this third-party company that's never been in Kansas City to reassess all the homes. And there's like class action suits against the county now because people like out of nowhere with no foundation, like their assessed value multiplied by 4 or something. So there's a couple of class action suits against them, and I have a hearing with them soon about one of our properties because that was just like way too much, from 300,000 last year to like 1.1 this year. That's a crazy jump.
Yeah.
So we're coming with the receipts and telling them it can't be that big of a jump, I guess. But they're
Yeah.
losing. I guess they're losing a bunch of these cases. So
Interesting.
yeah, interesting. Lots of
Yeah.
interesting stuff there.
What happened to your Vancouver property?
Oh, still there. She's still standing.
Good.
She's doing great. That's why I haven't sold it, because it's the least amount of headaches.
Yep. Yeah,
Love it.
Washington's a really strong market. So if you can get some more
Yeah,
multi
man.
in Washington, it's, especially right there where you're bordering Portland and Washington, it's like you get all the benefits of both economies.
Yeah. And the cool thing, I guess, so that the whole neighborhood is a bunch of duplexes, and like one of our units has parking for, what is that called? An RV thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and so the tenant right now has one in there, but I don't know, my tenant was like, yeah, it's actually pretty attractive because it's not common, but a lot of people like that. Like, it's very convenient here. And it's not offered just anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's a
That's
more
awesome.
affordable neighborhood too. So we're keeping the rents right below market value. So our good tenants don't want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a perfect fit. Especially when you get a good tenant, it's actually better to lower the rent and keep them than actually turn it trying to get a little bit more rent. Because the cost
Yeah.
of that is doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And we're pretty sure it's worth over 700 now. I've owned it for about a year now, and I bought it at 530. And
Nice.
every small and larger multifamily kind of sells for 350-ish per unit at this point. So yeah, it's a good deal.
If you're looking at a little bit of a project, there's an area north of Vancouver called Kelso Longview. And I've got a client who's a physician out of Florida who kind of needs to get out of it. And so it's a 5-unit, it's done some fix up, pretty solid rents. I think he gets around 4,000 something a month in rents. And he's willing to let it go for under 500. So like 495 kind of a thing, which is under 100K, which is a pretty good price.
Yeah.
I've considered it for myself, but it's a little small for us right now. So
yeah. Especially when
we're
you're looking at 300 plus. Yeah.
Yeah. But I might, just to help him out, because he's like, I just want to get out of it. I want to reposition some money. He lives in Florida, so it's so far away. And so he was trying to get 535, 550 for it. Tons of interest, but just nobody could afford it because of the interest rates. They just couldn't get financing. So now he's just like, what number should I try to put it at? I'm like, well, if you really want to try to get someone to bite, then if you go down to like 495-ish, then you're gonna have a better chance.
Yeah, and more eyes on it. And yeah, I'm gonna see, because my agent has like her whole team, and they actually have a construction company too. So I can, if it's a project, meaning like when you said a project like it needs repairs and stuff, then I would definitely go with her. She's got all the connections. I don't know if she goes that far out. She's got to go, yeah, because she goes to Portland. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sure she wouldn't
Vancouver
mind
to
managing that.
Kelso is about, I think it's about 45 minutes. It's not far,
Yeah,
far.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
And it's not
Guaranteed.
like it's not a massive project in terms of you need to fix it to rent it because it's fully occupied. But
Yeah,
there's definitely, it's an older building and it's one of those in a good working class area. It's more of a buy and hold kind of a thing, but
yeah, yeah, totally.
not quite
Yeah, like,
1%.
and I actually just putting that out there because I'm in Midwest, really affordable areas, and I'm in Hawaii and Vancouver, which are, I guess, considered a little bit more expensive. Um, there's definitely a difference in the I don't, and I don't know how to say this nicely, but there is definitely a difference in the quality of tenants, the quality of vendors you work with. Calling utility companies, they are nicer in Vancouver than when I call in the Midwest. It's crazy. Like after being doing this for, I mean, being in the two areas for, I don't know, a year and a half now, I'm like, wow, that's like crazy difference. Yeah, it's people are super sweet in Seattle or Vancouver. Like they're so sweet when I
Yeah,
call the county office or the municipalities or
yeah.
yeah, big difference, big difference.
It's funny when
So I
you're a
kind of
multi.
like it. Like it's one of those other things. Like I'm not gonna be on hold for 5 hours, and someone's gonna be nice when they pick up. Like it makes a difference, at least to me, honestly.
Nah, no, it's a huge difference for sure. And it makes you more
Yeah,
inspired to do more deals in the markets where you have a little less friction in trying to even get a
totally, totally.
permitting
So
and all that.
I will shoot you a text to maybe get that. It's off market still, or
It's on market, but it's at a higher price. And so,
yeah,
yeah, so it'll be technically going off market because I just told him, you shouldn't lose money on it. It's a good asset. He's cash flowing. So it's like, if you're not desperate for the money, just hold it for another few months or a year.
yeah.
And, and that's where I just told him, if you can get, 500 to 530, you're in decent shape, and you can sell it. But he's like, well, what would be the number if I try to just fire sale it? And I mean, I don't think he should, but I think that he'd be willing to take around 495.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
it's an option.
I'll
An
text you.
option.
Cool,
Yeah, it's
cool. Thank you guys.
cool.
So
No,
if we
thank
do get this Maui deal at 800,000, we will we'll be raising a couple hundreds.
Nice. We like couple
Yeah.
hundreds.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Another partnership deal. So very good.
So everybody keep that in
Thank
mind
you
in case
guys.
anybody's looking
Can
for
you
options.
can you send the form that shows the breakdown if you're looking for investors? Is there an
We
offering?
will once we have a final, price. Once
Great.
this dude makes up his mind. Yeah.
Let us know. I know a bunch of people with money. I'm happy to put you guys in touch.
That's
Perfect.
awesome. Yeah, we got to do more
Thank you.
deals as a
Thank you.
community too. So that's great. Love it.
I don't know if it counts, but Aiden helped us out. He was a private lender on one of our deals.
Yay! We love it.
So
It's awesome.
kind of, sort
Well,
of.
Jacob and I are working on a 14 unit in Enumclaw, Washington, kind of near Mount Rainier. And so that's an interesting play because it's a 14 unit that the city is like, hey, we don't have affordable housing. So they are allowing for us to condominiumize the multifamily, which just escalates the return. So acquisition was like just about 100,000 a door. Once we go through the legal process to condominiumize, we'll be doing 2 to 250 a unit. So just like that. Is
I'm doing the same thing here, Kikoa. This house I'm
Oh, are
sitting
you?
in. Yeah.
Nice.
CPR.
Yeah, it's a condo.
It's gonna be
Oh,
two.
CPR.
Yeah.
Yeah, CPR is pretty common in Hawaii, which is pretty cool. It's not condominiumizing apartment buildings is a little bit more of a niche thing. So it's so the same thing is Roderick, if you get a 300 unit, if you can also condominiumize it to be
Yeah.
300 individual units. So our Vegas property, the 160 unit, is 160 individual units that we could sell by themselves. So it's kind of a game-changing approach to exiting, because your price per door sold will go up dramatically than trying to sell it as a big block.
What if you only bought deals that were able to do that?
If you only look for deals that you could do that, yeah, 100%. Yeah. So that's why, like, when you're taking a look at cities and where you want to buy, oftentimes I call the city right away and just say, hey, what's your theology when it comes to the possibility of creating more affordable housing? They always say we want more affordable housing. Then it's like, well, what's been the experience in your town for people asking for a permit to be able to take a multifamily and making it affordable housing? And then they just kind of walk them through. In some markets, they're just like, oh no, we don't do that. And others are like, yeah, we're 100% open to that. What you'll need to do, and this is what we have to do. Similar to CPR, right? You got to go through and get an attorney. You got to create it. We have to create an HOA for a multifamily to go to residential condominiumized units. So you have to have an HOA run all of the common areas, and you have to have an attorney draft all of the HOA documentations and all that. So it's a bit of work, probably about 50K in legal fees, but the return is really solid. So yeah, if you can find properties in markets that will allow that, game changing. I'm in. Sign me up.
It costs us 20 grand to do this house comparatively.
That's not bad. 20 grand.
Hey Cole, what's your plan for the exit? Is it like a mass sell-off or kind of a slow piece by piece? How do you exit? Do you have a plan for exiting that many units individually?
That's awesome. That's actually a great question. So diving a little bit deeper, because this might be beneficial to Roderick as well. So oftentimes when you buy a multifamily, you're going to use a bridge loan initially because you want construction funds. So that's great, right? So you initially buy it. The problem is that bridge lenders most of the time do not want to be taken out one unit at a time. They need to be paid off in full. So Alex, to answer your question, what we need to do is we're going to probably raise the whole balance of the bridge loan, which is about 1.3 million. And that way we'll own it free and clear. So then we're going to be able to sell it off individually. And so we'll keep rent tenants in there. And then once we're legally a condominium project with an HOA, then we'll remodel the whole exterior so it has much more of an appeal for people to call it home and make it more exciting for them to want to live there. So probably put in, nicer yard, and because it's going to be a different caliber, right? Once people own it, they're like, ooh, we want this nice. Where when you're just rent ready, you're just like, basic. So we're going to probably upgrade some of the exterior siding, put in a nicer little dog park, really do nice landscaping. And then while that's in transition, we're still going to rent it, get rental income. So just like you're saying, Alex, but at the same time, renovating the interior of the units to be really nice. So we're going to make it so that way this affordable housing is going to look super high end. So not subway tile, right? Like fancier tile, not the cheap LVP, but maybe even a combination of hardwoods and, that kind of thing. So we can push the price point. So at first we're going to have a mix of tenants and owners, but quickly we're going to be able to sell it off. When we own it free and clear, we can sell them off in any tranche we want, 1 at a time, 2 at a time. Some investor might say, I want all 14 of them. And if they do, that's great, but you're going to pay $250K a unit because that's market price. But chances are we're going to be a landlord while at the same time selling off. We'll own the HOA, so we'll make money off of managing the HOA association and the HOA fees as well. Does that help with the question?
Yeah, that's cool. So you raise your own money to exit your bridge loan, just with your private investors, and then so you own it free and clear, and then you have control on your timeline.
That's correct. So that's where we haven't yet. We're still in a bridge. So I bought the property at first as a flip. And so now we're getting to the end of the flip, and we just decided to ask the city that question because it was something that I was thinking about. And they're like, yeah, 100%. And I was like, well, what's the comps run if we sold it? And it's like, it's a no-brainer to make twice as much per unit, but to put in an extra year of time maybe, or $50,000 for legal fees. Like that's a no-brainer. The hardest part will be to raise the 1.3 mil. And so that's what we're going to start doing, is seeing who wants to be a part. But what's going to be creative for us is we're going to ask for investors who want to partner with us to get an opportunity to be on the operating agreement. So that way on their resume, schedule of real estate owned, they'll be able to say they've owned a 14 unit, which is game changing for anybody who's trying to get into multifamilies. Getting a bridge loan or conventional loan or Fannie agency debt, if you don't have kind of bigger experience, then it's a hard no, like really fast, especially in this market. So to me, this is kind of a cool another opportunity to help people who just don't have the experience, but they're like, hey, I want to fast track to a 14 unit. And all I've owned is a 1 unit or a duplex or a fourplex, all the residential to jump into commercial. Then that's kind of what we're hoping to create here. So I don't know how we're going to be able to create all that with the operating agreement. Well, I kind of have an idea, but that's what we're hoping to do. Then we'll own it free and clear. That gives us full control. We'll pay out some interest, of course. But the upside for the investors is not just OPM investing, it's actually getting experience at the same time. How does that sound? Does that sound cool? Like, is that a cool concept?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. I've heard of that before. Especially with bigger properties, I just thought like that's going to be quite the headache, and the timing of all that to make it happen. This mass sell off. But it's different when they're all rented, and then you have more control of your timeline. So I like it.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So if any of you guys are interested in jumping in, it's not official yet, but if you want to kind of let me know if you're interested, just shoot me a text and then we'll put you on the list for what's cool too, is because we'll do it internally. We don't need to worry about doing accredited investors or anything like that. It's just friends. So we'll try to put something together because that's been my hardest challenge with helping people because we're brokers too that help people buy multifamilies and build portfolios. It's always cool because everyone's excited and then we get to the lending part and then the lender's like, I can't do it. Like I just helped 8 doctors with 800 credit scores each and liquidity of like $5 million between them. I could not get them a $2.6 million multifamily loan because none of them had owned anything bigger than a fourplex. And so, and then we went through all the big agency, all the agency debt, all the commercial banks, and then even the bridge lenders. So nobody could do it just because no experience. So it's kind of tragic. So figured this could be creative. Could be fun. Could be fun. That was a great question, Alex. Alex, what's happening in your life while you were chatting? Since you're chatting.
Yeah, man. Actually just moved over to the Big Island the past month or so. And got a nice property over there. And then I actually really like it. The ground is fertile over there. It's kind of one of the last affordable spots in the island. So it's just strong market. Lots of anyways, I just like it. So we've got a couple projects coming up. Actually one I'll be looking to wholesale here if anybody's interested. But yeah, I mean we still got our condos or the short-term rentals here on Maui. And then some in St. George, but that's kind of my next. That's kind of what's on my plate right now is some Big Island stuff, primarily on the Hilo side. So
nice. And was that like single family construction or rehabs or what are you doing?
Yeah, a couple flips, and then I'll be doing my first ground up. I actually haven't done any yet, so gonna be venturing into that in the next couple months, but yeah, and then just flips aside from that. So
awesome
for the moment.
For Hilo, while you're in Hilo, there is a lot of demand these days for people wanting short-term rentals in Hawaii. And as we all know, there's a lot of regulations against that on Oahu, and it's pretty difficult. For some reason, Hilo side is a lot more generous, and so is Kona. So as a result, if you're out there looking at stuff and you find something that could be potentially a short-term rental and legally permitted as such, then I have investors that can 100% pick those up from you, and we could partner together.
Yeah, the one that I was mentioning, I was on a wholesale. It's just, I mean, I just buried some money into for a few reasons. I think it'd be a better fit for somebody else right now, but it's across the street from the water, and it has some short-term rental potential for sure. So yeah, anyways, we can talk a little more about that one if you think you have someone might be a good fit for. It's like a
Yeah,
400K purchase price, and then the rehab is going to be about 150 to 170, but it'll be worth 750, 800
Single
afterwards,
family?
and single family, yeah.
How many square feet?
1,500 square feet, and then it's got there's room though. That's all on the top level, and the garage, like there's definitely room to add square footage. And there's also already a studio unit attached to it. So I know hosted short-term rentals are easier on in Hawaii County, as opposed to just what's the word? But just your normal transient vacation rental. So it has a potential for that. It's got a unit that you can live in. Well, basically two nice livable units. And either one could be short-term rented, especially if somebody is on the property hosting the rental. So, yeah, I think there's some good potential with this one, or just a straight a regular flip too works as well.
Yeah. Did you source that yourself?
It was actually it was on the MLS. I was gonna say pocket listing. It wasn't even a pocket listing. It was on the MLS. And yeah, we were backup offer, and then they just called, and we're opening escrow today. So yeah, it was just on the MLS.
Yeah. Do you have my information? Shoot it to us. I'm gonna drop it in there.
Yeah. Make sure send it over, and then give me your info and just make sure I have it. That'd be great.
It's pretty easy. It's keikoa@teamkeikoa.com. It's pretty
Okay,
egocentric.
Perfect.
That might be something
I'll send that over.
Yeah, send it over. Kimo, who's on the call here too. Kimo and I might want to do something together on that one. Kimo and I are exiting out of a project in Vegas right now, so we'll have a little bit of some money. So that could be something we could do.
Nice, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you once I stop driving here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, so keep your ears open for more like that, because even ground ups in good areas that allow us to do short-term rentals, the physicians we work with, they eat those up, man, because the accelerated tax depreciation opportunity for short-term rentals is humongous.
Right. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out. That's one thing. It's kind of this not unknown but lesser known opportunity there, especially on the Hilo side of some stuff you can pick up for a lot cheaper than anywhere else in the islands, but has that short-term rental potential. So, anyways.
Yeah, dude.
Good to know.
Stay in touch. That's awesome. I'd love to work with you. The other thing too is keep your ears and eyes open to downtown Hilo for multifamilies, those older buildings. We were just taking a look at one downtown Hilo that had 35 units. And when we penciled it out, it actually really pencils, because there are some Hawaii grant monies that supplement the tenant income or the tenant rents. And so when you go with those supplemental agencies, like it's a great fit.
Interesting. Yeah, let's talk more about that too. I've looked at I've hunted for a few multifamily deals. And it's kind of been on the back burner, but yeah, multifamily in Hilo would be super cool if you're seeing some opportunity. So
yeah, 100%. I love it.
Cool.
Kimo, what do you think? I don't know if he's listening in. Kimo, you like Hilo?
Oh, I love Hilo. Love Hilo.
You heard the short-term rental potential across from the beach?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We got to exit. We got our Vegas one closing soon, bro. We got some money we got to spend.
I like to hear that.
Actually, you know what? We might even be closing today. I'll have to check.
Don't tease me.
Yeah, I like teasing. I'll tell you that we'll close next week. But yeah,
okay.
Work out. Alex, it may work out for us to jump in. Did you do an inspection already?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of preliminary. My guy's going back next week to kind of dive in a little bit deeper. But we're at about a 150, 170 rehab.
Okay.
Are you talking like official inspection, home inspection type?
Yeah, so I mean, typically the way I work is I always want to get a professional inspector because it always allows me the opportunity to take the report and get a better price. So, you know,
Yeah.
since you got a J1, how long is your J1? 14 days? I think we lost Alex.
Yeah, 15.
15 days. That's perfect. Yeah, so I mean, for the few $100, if you're able to get an inspector, that might get an even better price, which could be really solid. But it definitely helps out to plan the scope of work too. At least for us, we find that we want to be able to address everything on the inspection report, have the contractor review that. So that way we go in with not about 150, we're like, oh, it's 155, $680 according to this contractor, and he's ready to sign and start, kind of a thing. So
Sure.
if we're able to get there,
Yeah,
that's huge.
Can do that.
Yeah, that'll give Kimo and I just a little bit more data so we can really make a quick decision. Because we honestly will need to reposition this money.
Okay. Cool. Well, we can work on that for sure.
Perfect. And then if you could do one more thing on that, double check with the city
Yeah.
on the STR requirements and stuff and see if we could get a legal STR there. Then that's huge.
Sure.
Sweet.
Okay.
Sorry, man. Sorry to make you do all that extra work, but it could be a possibility.
That's all right. That's all right. That works. Okay. Sounds good.
I love it. I love it. Anybody got anything else you want to chat about, or this has been great. We've just been talking about whatever we want to talk about. Truly what a coffee talk should be about.
Insurance. I need an insurance ninja for all these properties. I need help.
We're in multiple states and we use multiple insurers, and I can tell you that I have not figured out a good system either. What's been working for us is that we have to use different insurers because the different states kind of have different requirements and different insurance companies kind of cover things better. So I do find that local insurers are the better fit for each location. I have a couple national brokers, like one of them is Allstate. And so it's great. They're big, they're huge, they're all over the country. But the problem with them is that they're so big that their pricing is not competitive. Like they
Yeah.
just slap you a premium and they're just like, go for it. But I'm like, well, I just, I need something a little bit better. So that's where I think you're probably doing the same thing, is just looking for some local insurance folks and just asking for pricing. Definitely price it out. And then you got to play around with it these days. Like on another call, Karen in Maui, and I think Tay is probably hearing the same thing, is so many people were underinsured. And so we've learned not to shop for the best premium, but to shop now for the best coverage, which is super different. Because for the longest time, we always feel like, nah, that never happened to us. We won't have a fire. We won't have murders. We're not going to have an electrical fire. But I can tell you that every single one of those has now happened on our properties.
Yep.
And so it's not if it's going to happen, it's like, it's going to happen. It's going to be when. And then the question is your insurance company going to cover that? And then if they cover it, what I've learned is do some research to see if they have a history of increasing premiums. Because if that's the history, then that means that if you file a claim, they're going to increase your premium. But if you do
Right.
some back research and the reviews reviews indicate more of a fairness approach, like, hey, I had a few claims, but I didn't notice a premium adjustment, then that's what I typically like to go with. Because otherwise we get stuck in a position of, had a fire, do I pay cash or I go with my insurance company? If I go with my insurance company, I know they're going to increase my premium, so therefore I'm going to pay cash. Then what the frick do I have insurance for, right? So
Is there one website that you can go to and say, insurance in this area, and they'll send you a list of the ones that will actually work? Or like, do you go Google Maps? Like, how do you find these insurance people?
I love it. That's a great question. If you created something like that, you would probably get a bunch of subscribers. But what I've discovered is I just ask the network that I know. So like for Vegas, there's a couple of real estate meetup groups, and then Facebook has a couple of real estate meetups, what do you call those? Facebook pages. So I just jump in there and I just ask the question, hey, who's insuring, or who's been insuring something about this size? What have you heard? And people love to jump in on that stuff. And I find that that's more credible than going with any of the online research, that's out there, because there are some online people who have said, oh yeah, for Austin, Texas, you know, these are the top 5 insurance companies, or Yelp says these are the top 5, or Google reviews. But to me, those aren't as adequate as when an investor says, hey, I use so-and-so brokerage because they've gotten this and they've really demonstrated customer service or something like that. So honestly, that's where I go.
Yeah. Thank you.
I love it, dude. Those are great questions. Good stuff. Anybody got any other things you're processing?
Is there any laws against self-managing these properties in different states? Or it's just like a house, a triplex. Like,
Yeah.
I have my real estate license in Hawaii, but I don't have anything in those states. Like, manage your own stuff, right?
Yeah, definitely check, right? But for the most part, if you own the property and you self-manage, typically that's fully acceptable across the country. However, once you go into managing someone else's property, then you got to be licensed. If you're in a partnership in some communities, then there's more liability is what they're looking at, and you have a conflict of interest. And so therefore they, you know, have higher regulations for licensure and oversight. So typically the rule is if you're managing your own shit and you are going to mess up your own shit, then that's on you. Good luck. God bless you. Right. But as soon as there's this exposure to managing someone else's money, someone else's assets, then as soon as that opens up, then that's where all this liability stuff comes in. So generally that's what I've noticed. But yeah, but then honestly, Roderick, I think as you grow, you're going to discover, like us, you just can't self-manage. It
Right.
actually does you worse to self-manage than to actually hire someone and pay them the 8 to 10%. So at first, yeah, definitely it's a great experience. Like now in Vegas, we have a hired property manager on site with all of the stuff. And now we've hired another level because we used to manage them that were on site. Now we've hired an asset manager that manages the property manager because we just don't have the time.
Right.
So it's extra cost, but that's their job full time, is to sit on their butt all day long. And that's my goal for you, is that you will have to have asset managers who manage the property managers of all your properties. And that's where you can be in multiple states, because your asset manager can go
Yep.
across the country. And so then it, because right now you're saying to me, I need to buy in these markets because I already own stuff. It does kind of make some sense. But then I am now of the opinion of I'm going to go wherever in the freaking country that gets me great cash on cash, high appreciation, solid returns, and I've got a trusted team of contractors.
Yep.
And so I'm more concerned about that than necessarily buying in the same backyard. Absolutely. Great book.
I'm halfway through it right now. I'm reading the whole thing.
I love it. I love it. Great book. For anybody who's looking for a good book, pick that one up.
I don't know. It seemed to have everything. So I'm learning. I'm in school.
I love it.
So
Good stuff.
Roderick, actually, Hawaii does require out-of-state residents to hire a property manager for their rental properties here.
Right.
So good
They can't
question.
self-manage.
Yeah.
Wow.
Great question. Thanks, Anna.
So is this
And
the
that is
only
for
place?
anybody, even if you're the owner of the property and you manage it yourself from a distance, you need a license.
Out of state.
Out of state.
Yeah. So if you're not a Hawaii resident, but you have rental properties here, you're required to hire property managers.
Interesting. Okay. Very good. Good to know. Thank
Good
you for
stuff.
that.
Might be a cap on the amount of properties, like a handful of properties before you have to have like a license or something like that. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
it.
we came across it because I worked for a property management brokerage a couple months ago, and that was one of the questions. And I think there is no minimum.
So even just for one rental? If you're out
Yeah,
of state?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I read it. My broker sent it to me, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
That's great
Thanks,
to know.
Anna.
That's fantastic. Well,
Have you
good
guys
stuff.
read Who Not How?
What's that, Roderick?
Have you guys read Who Not How?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So my question is, who can help me set up all the systems and processes from the book called Traction? I'm just going to use that EOS model. I need help setting it up. Who should I
Oh,
call?
love that book. Love that book. I don't know. That's a good question. To
So,
set it up, huh?
Roderick, do you have an EOS implementer assigned to you?
No, not yet.
So through the EOS program, you have resources available to you for the implementation of their
Really?
principles. They do, yeah. It's pretty legit. It's gonna cost you money, but that's their whole training, is that they help people implement the whole EOS system.
How much?
It depends on what you need. It's all
That'd be
apart. So
cool.
it's
Yeah,
like 500,
it's an upsell.
500 bucks, $20,000 if you need them to like comb your hair, brush your teeth, and wipe your butt.
Right. That's
So
great.
if you want the full turnkey system, like they will come out, they will train your team, they will, I mean, they'll do literally everything. So it's kind of
Oh,
cool.
cool. I just need one Zoom meeting. Here's how I use it. Here's
Yeah.
all the forms, you know.
Yours will be probably on the cheaper end. Keep us updated on that and what you think. I have a couple friends who definitely use the EOS implementers and love it. So I'd be curious
Awesome.
what you think. Cool.
Unless you
Anybody
have
got
a better
anything else?
idea.
This is great stuff. I love it. We're at the top of the hour, so I definitely want to respect everyone's coffee hour.
Stoked, you guys. Thank you so much for the lessons.
No, I love it. I love this conversation. Roderick, bring it every week, man. Those are great questions. We all learn from them.
Trying to grow. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love your advice.
Hey, keep us
Thank you.
updated on your stuff too. And we're excited
Hey,
for Alex's deal in Hilo.
Hey guys, hey Kiko, can I just chime in 1 minute? Just
Yeah, hey, Kurt.
hey, how you guys? Happy Thanksgiving if I don't talk to you guys. That's next week already. I know you guys are all moving and shaking and stuff, and coming from the title side, just make sure when someone's selling a land, make sure it's that person. Don't take it for granted that it's that person. Whoever title company you're working with, make sure you verify that through a deed. And if you're going through notary, especially on the mainland, and if the guy's the owner and he said, "Oh, I have my own notary," that's a red flag. Always go through a title company. I know we want to move fast, but you, like Kiko was saying about insurance, buying the best coverage. When it comes to verify it, you need to have patience and verify it, because there are a lot of bad people out there trying to, and they can scam you, and they looks good, but make sure whatever title company you're working with, make sure you verify. If you need help, you can always contact me. We can help you out, but just want to throw that in there.
Love it. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Words of wisdom from Kurt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thoughts?
What's up, Corey?
Fantastic, everybody.
Okay.
So I think, Corey, next week are we doing? It's Thanksgiving, so we get next Friday or what?
I'm guessing we have to. We should probably take off. Yeah.
All right.
For a
then
minute, I
everybody-
thought that was Jason Bourne walking through the airport with the glasses.
I know, right? He's such a stud.
Oh, you like these, yeah? But they're my Maui gyms, and every time someone mentions my Maui gyms, I have to say that Alexander wore them one day and stretched them out. They were never the same.
That's awesome.
That is it.
All right, well, everybody have a great Thanksgiving then. We'll skip next Friday and then we'll jump in the week after in December. And so enjoy. We are, just as we close, Corey and I are very thankful for each of you. You guys have definitely enhanced our lives and have helped made us better. We hope that we will continue to do lots of cool things, do some deals together. But we're highly grateful for all that we've been given and super excited for the future.
Thank you, guys. Happy
Bye,
Thanksgiving.
guys. Thank you.
God bless everybody. Take care.
Hello, everyone.